Okay, it's another day, which means it's another vlog. And today we are going to talk about GVM upgrades for these babies. I'm in Gold Coast, just about to go to Wet and Wild with the family. And I figure if I make a video whilst going to Wet and Wild, there must be some sort of like tax deduction. Like I'm on the job. So yeah, this is all tax deductible now. And I just have to do a video and give you guys some information. So I'm going to take you through, because I reckon I was one of the first people that did a GVM upgrade in Y62 like 5 years or so ago, and things have changed throughout that. And we'll talk a bit about axle group mass and what's that about, how quickly you can get over your GVM with a build like these ones. It's really not hard with Y62s. And then I'll tell you what the offerings are for GVM upgrades, where the pre-reg GVM upgrade is possible, because I get asked that all the time, and the difference with coil sprung and low control arm suspension upgrade. So we're going to talk you all through it as I go to Wet and Wild. Alright, there's a bit of excitement in the car because we're just waiting to leave to go to Wet and Wild. But so I'm going to go through like the levels of GVM upgrade. So the first one you can do is group axle mass. So that is what Nissan say that axle limit is on the front and the back combined together, which is 3,680 kilos, and quick mass, 180 kilos extra on top of what the GVM is of the Y62. Now, for a lot of people, that's more than enough. When I did this back in 2014 or 15, the way you had to do it is go commission an engineer, get them to look at the parts that you need in your car, install the suspension, then go down to do like testing of it. So we went and hired an airstrip for an hour and had to do brake tests. That's a series of 20 brakes sequentially after each other one to make sure that there wasn't fade. And then at the end of that, there's a really big, I think it's like 100k an hour, and then brake as hard as you can to see if there's no fade. And we loaded the car up at 3.8 ton and passed, no worries at all. Then there's a lane departure test, and 80 k's an hour and I think 120 k's an hour. And once you've done that, you've passed. You then go to Regency or your local motor reg. They sign off on it, check your car, and that, I think the engineering part cost about 3,000, and plus suspension parts. These days, I think that's been done a few times now, and if you can find the right engineer, they'll sign off on it, because they know that axle group limit is enough, and I think it's like under $1,000. So the next type of GVM upgrade is one that Ontrack have developed. They've done this for years, and it pretty much consists of, as far as the engineering, to get a 35-inch tyres and a 4.085. It's raining. GVM upgrade. This ain't cool. I'm getting really wet here. I'm going to walk and talk. Is the lower control arm lift at the front. So you'll notice that there's a 2-inch lift and each arm is stamped, and that relates to the engineering side of it. And then at the back you've got to have billet lower control arms, because that's the first thing that breaks when you get heavy and take these things off road. And to be honest, even if you don't want a GVM upgrade and you're running a rear bar or a tank or both, you should probably get them before you bust or bend the pressed steel ones that come from Nissan. That's basically the fuse in the Y62 control system. Alright, stop raining. Check out this. The kids are just like ecstatic. Now, if you're doing all of this, and you don't have to put this into the GVM upgrade, but do the upper control arms too. Black Hawk, Dash Pro, Calip Road, like they're all good, they're all the same. But basically they're going to give you your caster back, and they're going to get the thing driving properly again.
Now, as far as pre-reg GVM upgrades go, this is very different to, for example, a 79 series mine spec vehicle, or even a 200 spec vehicle. Basically, well, in the mechanical, technical side of things, they've got a live rear axle, so it doesn't matter how much or how little weight you have on that axle, it's not going to change the camber of that wheel. Y62s have got an independent, so if you go and put a massive spring in there, all that's going to do is make it sit really high, and the wheels are going to come in like this. So you'll never get your adjustment, let alone get it through your motor reg department. So it's very difficult to have a pre-reg GVM upgrade. Now, the second part of this is more the bureaucratic part, is you need to be a second stage manufacturer and develop a kit that can be set as a pre-reg. So there's no one in Australia at this moment in time that has that. I do believe that Ontrack, like always, is working on something which is not going to be until the middle of the year, but until that happens, the answer is basically no. You have to have, they're walking past. Have to have the weight put on the car after registration, and then go and do the engineering and the upgrade with the springs and everything. I just realised the downside of trying to record a video at Wet and Wild is the lens is never clean, so I apologise if there's spots on the lens. Now, there are other ways you can lift a Y62. You can do a coil lift. So ARB supplies some springs. Got them. Usually I know the code off the top of my head, I can't right now. But you can depressurise the HBMC system, put in a 40mm coil at the front and I think a 50mm one at the back, or increased height. So you can lift it that way. However, no one has done the engineering yet to say whether that's a good idea for a GVM upgrade, and it can't be signed off. So if you want a true increase in weight and legal, you have to do the Ontrack lower control arm at the front, billet arm rear, and coils at the rear. That's the only way you can do it. The last part of this is about GCM upgrades. So at the moment, there's nothing you can do to increase the GCM. Doesn't matter about any sort of GVM upgrades or anything. There's nothing available. 7 ton is it, and we kind of just have to wear it for now. Also, let's say you've gone and done the GVM upgrade, and that specifies all the components that are in your car. Now, for example, say you're all done and you go, oh, I want to put some K-frame spacers in the back for some reason. Well, no, that isn't on the paperwork, so that voids the GVM upgrade and the engineering certificate. Say you want to do the lower control arm lift at the front, but then later on turn it into a 4-inch lift and put the coil in it as well. No, you can't do that. As soon as you get that signed off by the engineer, that's like how the car stays, and to keep the GVM upgrade. Personally, like for myself, I always am challenged with legalities, but I'm going to fit all the proper components so I know that the car is strong enough for the weights that I'm going to put in my car. But whether I actually get the certificate or not, we'll see how it goes. But I just need to know that it is strong enough, and that especially where the billet arms go in the back, that's a vulnerable component. That part needs to be upgraded if you're going to increase the weight of your car. Lastly, how easy is it to get to your 3.5 ton GVM? Essentially, if you go and buy a brand new car, add a front bar, rear bar, sliders, bash plates, rims, tyres, a rear wheel carrier and a roof rack, and a full tank of fuel, you're basically there. So if you dare tow and put anything on the ball, you're over. So really you need to shave quite a lot of weight if you're going to want a fully built sort of rig for touring around and towing, and you're going to have to at least strengthen the components, and probably should get yourself a GVM upgrade. I hope that's cleared up heaps of questions, because I get asked those about GVM upgrades quite a bit, to be honest. So more videos coming as I don't know what the plans are tomorrow. Just have to wait and see. But thank you for watching, and I appreciate all the comments as well. I'll see you again on YouTube. Yeah.